All right. Good evening, guys. Hear me? And could you? Yes, good evening. I got one good evening from there. So if you all can hear me, just please raise your hands. I'm using this website for the first time, so I'm also learning how to, toggle with this website. Yes, we get some positive feedbacks. So if anybody cannot hear me, please raise your hand and I will repeat back. Good. All right, I'm sure you will have a slide in front of you and I will be talking you through the slide as we go. And if you would like to stop in between, please raise your hand. All right. So, welcome everybody to Professional/Business English course. And we will be doing this course for the next 3 months. Before we start, let me introduce myself. My name is Leonard Barnes and I have done a master degree from United Kingdom in food production and management. So professionally, I'm a food technologist. And the first 4 companies are the companies I worked with. I started with Castle Brewery. It's a beer company. I'm sure you don't drink beer, but it's a good company to work for. It's in England. And then I worked for another company in England called Samwood Brothers. They have about 13 factories and they are the largest sandwich manufacturers in UK. And then I went back to Sri Lanka and I worked for a British company. It's called Aquamarine and they produces fish. And from there I came to Middle East, that is Saudi Arabia, and I worked for a shrimp company, the largest shrimp company in Middle East. So I'm very happy to be in Middle East. Rather than my work experience, I have consultancy experience by traveling abroad. I have done consultancy in India. I've traveled to Philippines and done consultancy for a company called Franklin Bakers. They make nice coconuts and they export to US. And also have visited Denmark, France, and I enjoy traveling in my life. So that's a brief about me. If any of you cannot understand my English, if you feel it's fast, I will be trying to speak very slow. Please raise your hand. Shall we go to the next slide? I don't hear any no, so I will go to the next slide. Good. This terminology, business English, professional English. So what it is, why it is important than the other English? What is the difference between a normal English, the normal English course and a professional or business English course? Number one is different than the language you use on a day-to-day life. The language which you speak with your friend, with your parents, it's different. We don't speak the same words of English with our professional colleagues or professional employers or even business partners. We do not speak the same language. We get up in the morning and we just say hi or morning to our friends, to our relatives. But if you meet somebody for the first time in your career, in your professional field, you would say hello, how are you? And you would use some different language than what you use in your day-to-day life. So business English is more of formal English. And also we know that in business, time is money. We do not have much time to express ourselves. So we would probably use concise sentences rather than I have a feedback from Yahya, nice tour. Oh good, thank you. I wish you would do the same in your future when you had a time. So coming back to the slide, business requires time. So within short amount of time, we will be using few words to express ourselves. So when you talk to a partner in China, you will have few minutes on the phone to express yourself, and still you need to transfer your details of specifications so that you get the correct product. Then, the usage of technical vocabulary. You would use technical vocabulary when you talk with your colleagues. When you talk professionally, you would use professional terminologies to express yourself. You don't say, I am tired, I cannot do this work. Instead, you would say, I am occupied with a more prior work so that I will finish this and come back to you. Even when you phone up for a customer service, the language that you hear from the customer service assistant is different than the normal words that you would hear from a day-to-day life family. Then interpretations and discussions. In business, you would have to interpret certain graphs, certain papers. You have to interpret that in a language where people of your same level will understand. And you have to maintain your standard of language while you interpret your work. And also business discussions. We discussed about projects. We launch new products in our company. We have new equipments coming into our company where we have to discuss with our colleagues, with our managers to take a decision. So we use a more technical language in that. Then we have project presentation or generally presentation. We present our ideas, we present our works to our colleagues, or you may even have a chance to present your business to investors. So you need to have that specific skills in order to transfer your ideas, to win people, to explain your terminologies, to explain your science or explain your engineering to people through your presentation. So you require a special skill, a special language to express yourself. Then we have international communication. You are based in Middle East, but your suppliers will be in Vietnam, China, around the globe. And your customers may be in Europe and US, Canada, and all English-speaking countries. So how can you transfer your business to these countries? How do you understand their culture? How do you understand their language? How do you make them understand what you speak to them? So it requires a special skill. And then cross-cultural communication. And I'm sure Middle East has its uniqueness of cultural communication. You don't speak and use the same words as you would use to a Western female with the same words to a female in Middle East professionally. You have to think about their culture. You have to use words not very friendly, not very personally with somebody from Middle East if you're talking with. And when you call Japan, they have their own cultural barriers, how you should address the person. In most Western countries, you call people by their first names. But if you call somebody in Japan, they would expect you to call them by their second name, starting with Mr. Or even some countries like India, they would prefer calling them like Sir or Madam. And also in Middle East, we talk Inshallah, we say Assalamu alaikum. These kind of words are cross-cultural communication. It involves with that. So overall, as I explained in this slide, business English is different than the English that you would use on your day-to-day life. This course is more of a skill course rather than an English course. Shall we go to the next slide? Or we can break for some few questions. Anybody who has a question? Or anybody do not follow my language? That I could go a bit more slower than my fast English if required? Anybody? Okay, I'm gonna go for a question. Can we change the language, please? Please bear with me till I get used to this system. So how would we go? Select. I select yes for me. Yes. Okay, I have to select yes. Okay. All right. So can we have some feedback, please? Oh, brilliant. So all have said yes. So that's brilliant. So I can continue with my presentation in a fast mode. That's good. So I'm very positive about the students that we have. So it's easy for us to, have a good output of this course. Next slide. Why there is a demand for professional English? Why do you need professional English? Well, basically you have to ask yourself. But if somebody asked me, how would I answer? Number one is globalization. We are living in a world now, it's very fast. The world is in one page. I have a question. Let me answer that from Ibrahim, and you're asking me that please, are the course suitable to second year preschool? Be informed that he started to study English since 2 years only. Well, I think if he started to learn English from 2 years, it depends. I mean, this course is designed for professional people who actually, have a job and work, and who is looking for a job. But if the student is skillful enough and has the competency, they could, join it, and it will definitely help them during school to be more professional and to be more academic in their field. So yes. All right, coming back to the slide, team. That number one is globalization. So we work in a world that our business not anymore is restricted to your own country. You work and you link with the world. So 10 years ago or maybe 20 years ago, you would only do business, or you would go to work and work in an environment where you will only limit it to your country, your resources and your businesses, and the service that you get for your business is just limited to your world. But now it's international. Why? Because we need to look at a more mature supply chain, we need to go for cost cutting, and we need to expand our business internationally to find more customers. So globalization demands you to have such a skill. And then number two is what everybody faces: job hunting. How many of you are in the process of job hunting? Please say yes if you have, because I'm going to help you to find the best job and the dream job that you ever wanted. Anybody? You could chat. I will get very fast into my questionnaire skills maybe on the next class, so bear with me. So till that, you can use the chat option. So yeah, if you want to get the job that you want, you need to compete with people. And imagine that competition is so high in these days that you have to be extraordinary to get your dream job. And then options demand extra mile runners. Now this is again a business word, sometimes you won't use these words like extra mile runners. Extra mile runners means people who do an extra work than what is given for them. People who make an extra step to make a job more delightful for their employers. So if you are working in your job and you want promotion, you need to go for that extra step and make yourself outstanding among all the other competitors in your company. And then the innovation and technology. You need to update yourself in your job so that you develop your skills within, because the world is not the same anymore. 10 years ago we were all using 2002 Microsoft Office, but now we have 2013. The same Excel that I learned, I don't know, maybe in my school, it's totally different than what we use today. So if you want to update yourself, you need to have a good reading skill and a good interpretation skills in English, so you can update yourself in the modern technology. So if you're an engineer, you will have modern equipment available in the market. So how good you are and how fast you are to go to Google and to search the exact thing that you really want for your business. And also, if you're a science person, you work in research, or you're a technical person, there are many journals which we release every So how good you are to acquire the knowledge from those journals. So you need such a skill to achieve that. And then international supply chain. If you have a business and you want to expand it, you definitely have to go for cost-cutting supply chains. You need to think about cost-cutting and also quality. So how can you monitor the quality throughout your supply chain? How can you manage your supply chain more efficiently by increased communications with your partners and your suppliers around the globe? And you need to send emails for them. You need to use the language you type. They should be able to understand and transfer the same standards in their factories in order to give you the right product. And then global customer service. If you have a customer in England, how good it would be for you to speak in the same standard of their English and transfer your product. Because in any business or any job, end of the day, you have to sell your product. And finally, outsourced cost-effective business strategies. So today we have a business that we have to design a software. So we spend more money in Dubai finding a person to give you a source, but then you found somebody in India where you can outsource your service in India. So when you outsource your software or outsource your website, you want to have the same information that you really want, which is in your mind. And you have to transfer that idea to your supplier in India. So how are you going to transfer that? How are you going to write a business proposal for them? How are you going to negotiate with them to reduce your price? So you need a special skill to achieve that high business goals. Let's go to next slide. Any questions so far? No? Can I hear a no, like typing? Oh, somebody says a thumbs up. Yeah, thumbs up is a very good sign. We use it. There are signs in business. No's. Mohammed, yes, you have a question. How can I help you, Mohammed? Do you want to speak up? I'm connecting to your voice. Oh, no, thank you. All right. How many hours per week? All right, good question. We will discuss this course and okay, Ibrahim, you are late. Well, in business, you have to be on time. I'm sorry, even I was late in terms of getting my technical sorted out. That's all right, Ibrahim. We will discuss about the hours and the times per week at the end of the presentation, where Faisal will give you an introduction about how we will proceed with the course. Okay, Ibrahim, you will promise later. You know, I assume that you're a salesperson because, you know, people who are on sales, they make to, you know, have a lot of promises, but that's how it is. You have to make promises. If you want to sell an iPad, you have to make the promise. But Steve did his promise. Steve made a promise to the world, and Steve Jobs, you know, he kept up with his promise. Good. All right, so we'll go to the next slide. Let's introduce for the course. The course will be in English. Okay? Even when you're doing your group work, you have to speak in English. Do you know why? When I was teaching English for foreign nationals, I mean, including myself when I learned English, when I lived in Europe, when I was in England, I experienced many people, that's just Europeans coming from Poland, Romania, so many countries. They all had a problem when they write in English in business or in professional field, they think in their own language. They would think in Polish and then they will write in English. When you think in Polish, and when you write in English, then you make a lot of mistakes because you think in Polish and you need time to translate that. The same way, if you think in Arabic and you want to speak in English, you will be searching for words. So I have observed, you know, during my short stay in Middle East, that most of the Middle East nationals tend to think in their own language and they will search for the words and they will make a sentence. So halfway through your sentence, your translation, gets stuck up. So when your translation is stuck, your words will not come, in the right way which you planned. So I would really encourage you to speak in English while we go on with the training, and definitely we can pause, we can spend more time with you to develop your English. The course would start with the core competence module to support the course. Does everybody know the meaning of core competence? Anybody who does know? Raise your hands, please. Anybody who doesn't know what's the meaning of core competence? Or make a chat? Okay, so everybody knows. So we will have a set of preparations, so that those preparations will help you in understanding and learning and practicing the course. This course will include guidance in how to self-practice grammar. As part of the course, mostly in the first few hours of the class, we will be assisting you in how you can learn your English by yourself. The main difference that I noticed in the Middle East education scheme, that's just looking at Iraq and Egypt and commonly all the Middle East countries, is that we will answer your question, Ibrahim, at the end. Most of the Middle East students have a problem, is that they are actually going to an institution in Middle East, and they are being taught and taught and taught. So only what they are being taught, they are being able to learn. But if you look at the Western style of education, they do not teach you much. What they teach you is, they teach you how to learn by yourself. Because I want you to come just for 2 hours for this class, but I want you to gain 8 hours out of this class. So you will come for 2 hours, and we will give you guidance on other websites, or we will give you other practices where you will be learning by yourself. Because once you learn how to learn by yourself, even after you finish your program, after 3 months, you can develop and improve your English as you go on for many years. So you will know where to find the information, how to find the exact websites, and how you can proceed in learning your English by yourself. So we will recommend you websites where you have to work self, and we will discuss about the answers and your problems which you face in your self-learning process. Has everybody understood this point? Somebody say you're okay, other than Ibrahim. He's a very active student. Thank you, Aslam. I'm sorry if I'm wrongly pronouncing your name. I will get used to it very soon. I'm so sorry. Good. Islam. And point number 3. This will include guidance in how to self-practice grammar. So what I spoke to you, the main key things about English is this: grammar, writing, speaking, and reading. Sarah, you have a question? So these 3 main problems that we have, we could easily overcome by your self-practice. So I do not know what is the standard of English that you have. So if you feel that your standard is low, then what we can do is that you could practice more hours. So if, let's say, Ibrahim has a good level of English, Ibrahim needs to spend about 2 hours doing his practice, and if another student, Mohammed, would like to spend more hours because he wants to develop his English more, he would have to spend more hours on that. So we would probably suggest you for each student that how many hours that you need to practice, so that at the end of the day you will be able to bring up your standard level up. All right. The course will be taught online with audio and video aids. As part of the program, we will be showing you live business programs. We will be showing you probably the IBM's business meeting or the interview given by a director, and we will be showing you that so that you will get an understanding of the standard and you will have a target where you would like to target yourself in the next 5 years. And we'll be having audio sections where you will be given audios and you will be given questions. So it will probably test your listening skill, how well you can listen and how well you can understand. So totally the program will be interesting with technological inputs of online basis of learning. It won't be just like you have a book, you open the book, read it, and I come, teach you. It's not going to be like that. I'm going to ask some help. Working? Okay, we are back now. We are back. Is it including grammar? Well, grammar is the base of English. If you don't have good grammar, then obviously you cannot make a good word out of that. So we will be teaching you how you can improve your grammar. We will not be going through the basic grammar and explaining you the tenses, but we will be guiding you how you can practice your grammar, how you can learn your grammar. If you need special attendance or you would like to have a personal class where you have to spend 1 hour just to learn and to fine-tune your grammar, of course you can book a special time and I will be teaching you with that. I discussed of this matter with the organizations, the people who administrates this institution, but they said they have to charge you a little amount to have a private individual class if you need some special attendance. So that I think will answer it. Let's go for the next slide. The course will also include a basic project management and email Outlook training. So I'm sure that in your companies you will be using Microsoft Project Management because that's one of the key things in business, and you will also be using email Outlook. So we will also train you how efficiently you can use your project management software and your email Outlook training. But this will be a basic introduction. I will just give you an outline of how to use these skills. Then finally, yes, of course, you will be having assessments to assess yourself and to grade yourself so that we can give you a certificate at the end of the day. All right, we will go to the next slide. How to self-improve your English? So that's the main question about how you can improve your grammar, how you can improve your speaking skills, how you can improve your reading skills. My number one advice is practice, practice, and practice. Trust me that within a few months, if you practice hard enough, you will be able to speak English better than a European. Number two is use online question tests. We will recommend you some resources that you can use and improve your vocabulary, improve your grammar. So you continuously do your online test and get the answers, and always find out where you made the mistake. That is very important. It doesn't matter that you get 3 corrects out of 20 on the first test, or on the last test you got 19 correct and you made 1 mistake. Make sure you read that mistake again because you don't want to make that 1 mistake. And good thing about this multiple choice question is when you have 4 answers, always find why those 3 answers were wrong. When you find why those 3 answers were wrong, then you will learn 3 extra things. And then number 3 is read more. Read anything you see. Read your newspapers, read your magazines, read anything that you like in English. Number 4 is listen. Listening is very important. One of the secrets of learning any language is listening. I tried to listen to Chinese, but I couldn't learn Chinese. But most of my business friends who visited China, they were able to learn Chinese because just listen it. So listen to news channels like CNN and BBC. Try to avoid listening to pop music and, you know, some crumpy English stuff. Try to listen to proper English channels, news, and watch movies and drama. You know, dramas will help you more to learn formal English. And another thing is, the best way to improve yourself is teach others. Sit with your family, sit with your brother, sit with your wife or husband, and speak with them in English, and try to find out their mistakes. When you find out other people's mistakes, then it will help you not to make that mistake by yourself, because you're more careful, because you have asked your father that, you know, do not make this mistake. So you will be more careful when you speak not to make that mistake. So try to teach others. And then last thing is that be positive. Be positive of yourself. Today, if you feel that my English standard is not good, how am I going to learn English? How am I going to improve? You will never improve. Be positive. And also when you speak English, do not hesitate. I have seen many Middle East professionals, when they speak in English with me, they would say, I'm sorry, I don't know if I'm correct. Or they would say, I don't know the word in English. You know, so don't do that. Just make a mistake. Make a mistake for the first time. That's fine. Be positive. Do not feel shy when you speak English. A language needs to be spoken and practiced to be improved. So we will go to the next slide. Anybody who has a question, please raise your hand. Anybody? How can I measure my level in business English? Aslam, the best way you can measure your English is by speaking and getting feedback. That is to measure your spoken English. I'm just trying to search your mic. I'm releasing your mic. Aslam, it takes a bit of a time. I think your internet is a little bit slow. So I'm sorry, Aslam, your internet is very slow. Yes. Okay. Anybody else who speak more loud? Okay, Adnan. All right, Adnan. Can you hear me now? All right. While your mics are getting on, let's continue for the next slide. So, as part of the course, we are starting to discuss about just an outline of what we are going to study. So, number one is career development. This will be one of the major subjects what we are going to learn. So this career development will include CV preparation. And I'm sure most of you now are planning to send all your CVs to me so that I will correct it for you and I will give you the best CV and you will get the best job. No, I will not be writing CVs for you. I will be helping you to write your own CV in a better way. We will be looking at what are the important features of a CV, how you target yourself, and what language you use, how best you can describe yourself in your 2-page of CV. I have seen in my career where people applied for jobs where I have to recruit them. I have seen many CVs from different nationalities. I mean, I'm not being very rude to a particular people, but most of the Far East, that is Chinese and Thailand people's CVs, they're very colorful. They will have photos, balloons, and it's very colorful. But sometimes it's too much. It's too much colorful. And if you look at mainland Europe, European CV, their CVs are very congested. It has too much of information and you cannot read it in 1 page. And most of the Indian CVs, they are 4 or 5 pages. So when the CEO of the company, when he is looking at 100 people, imagine you are not the only one who sends a CV, because we all think it's only me who's sending the CV. Yes, your CV is important, but then there are 100 CVs comes to our desk. So when we have 100 CVs, we spent 1 minute we spend 1 or maximum 2 minutes to scan through your CV. So in that 2 minutes, what can you deliver for us will result in selecting you to be called for an interview. So you have 2 pages to describe your maybe 13 years of schooling, 5 years of graduation, and another 10 years of your work experience. A maximum 2 or 3 page. Now, to do that, you need the skills. Certain things you need to omit. Okay, when you have a question, you could. Yeah? I've kept you open. So, your CV preparation is very important because your CV is the first thing an employer sees before they hire you. So remember, CV is a very important document. Then, once you prepare your CV, how do you send it? You send it just a CV, or what you type in your cover letter? What information you want to give? Most people will have the same information in the cover letter as the CV. And the cover letter may go for 300 words. Just imagine yourself. You have given a chance on the newspaper of a 30 to 30 centimeter square to advertise yourself. What will you write on that? Because you're paying money for that. What will you write? So that's about CV preparation. Anybody who has a question on CV preparation? Anybody? Please raise your hands, or I can release your mic. Okay, so we don't have any questions. We will go to the next point. Okay, online job applications for corporate companies. If you would have heard about Pepsi Cola, if you would have heard about Unilever, Mars, all these companies, or even Nestle, if you want to join them, you need to go for a job application online. So you have to go to their website and you cannot attach your CV. You have to input your information on their questions and they will probably ask you 5 questions. One of the most common questions they'll ask you is, what was the most challenging experience you had in your past job? That is one of the main questions. And you will have 100 words to write your answer. When you write that answer in that 100 words, you will not know what is going to happen on the other side of that screen. They will have one technical manager of your field. They will have a HR manager who will have a PhD in psychology, and they will assess you. If you would have said, I tried to attempt suicide when I had the most critical situation in my life, they will never employ you. And another tricky question they'll ask you is, can you list out your weakness? If you tell in your weakness, I am not punctual, they will not hire you. So instead you have to say, my main weakness is that my handwriting is not excellent, but I have realized my weakness and I have improved my handwriting. Now I don't make any spelling mistakes and I'm still working on my weakness. That's what they like. If you say, I don't have a weakness, then they know that you're lying to them. You're just being like a Alibaba to them. Well, those are a few words that I know in Arabic. So I will learn a few words from you. So that's about online applications. You need to be very careful when you apply and when you send and type each question. And remember, once you send, click and send, that's it. You cannot withdraw your questions back. Number 3, job interview. Interviews become a nightmare for people. People will have an excellent skill. They will have the best qualifications, but they're still in the same company, getting the same old money for the 10 years. Why? They don't want to take a challenge to apply for a new job and find themselves in another challenging place with a better package. Why? Because they are scared to go for an interview. Most people shiver when they go for an interview. So this particular class will practically help you how to face an interview. Because remember one thing, your years of experience, your years of study, and your skills and your knowledge and everything that you have to express yourself in 30 minutes a maximum. So you need good English language, good skills, so you can express yourself in few words. Why don't we do a small exercise? Let me give you, actually I'm sorry I do not have that question with me right now because of our technical drawback. The question is not with me, but we will discuss about practice questions on how you can talk concise. I'll give you 30 words of one sentence and you will have to summarize and make that into 10 sentences. Can you get that? Can you get that question? Can you get the first question and post it for them? There's 30 words. Yeah, the first one, not the last one. Last one is the answer. The first two lines are 30 words. So you will post that 30 words. So you will have a sentence of 30 words. And you need to rephrase that sentence and write in your own words, or you can use the same words. The meaning should be same. And you have to use less words. Let's see who can get the words in 10 words. Same sentence in 10 words. Are you all ready for the exercise? Somebody say yes for that? Or a thumbs up? Okay. So the question is on? Okay. You have a sentence which is used in, can they hear me? Just choose one because we don't have the answers. You have to write the answer for me. And you can post it on the chat. Okay, do not submit, do not submit, do not submit. Okay, do not submit the question. You will have one sentence which will have more than 30 words, 30 to 34 words. You have to rephrase the sentence in your own word in less words. So if it is 34, try to make it 20, 15. Let's say who is that person among you all who can get that sentence in less words. The winner will get a prize. Anybody who would like to try? Adnan, you would like to use the word? Alright, Engineer Reed. We have a question. We have posted it. It consists of 34 words of the same sentence. You need to get that, and then you need to rephrase the sentence with your own words, which is less than 34. It's a long sentence. You need to make it short. Okay, we have a try, Islam. How many words is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's impressive. So we have somebody who has done for 12 words. But do not see that. Be honest. Another thing about this course is you have to be honest. You should not copy others because the answers will be given. If you're not honest, you cannot learn. Adnan has a good answer. Well, Aslam, you missed one word. You missed one word because it makes grammatically wrong without that word. Let's see, Adnan. 2 pipes are broken and the inspector tell us we cannot fix because there is no tools to do that. To be honest, you are changing the meaning because we have used the words engineers. It's not about we, it's about the engineers. So 8, you have very few sentences. Did you miss the last word? Okay, you made a spelling mistake, that's fine. Due to lack on tools, we can't fix our main two pipes. Well, to be honest with you, engineers is not you. Engineers is a noun which was used to describe a group of people. So you have to make the sentence starting as the engineers. Imagine this is a statement that you're giving to your boss. So you are not the engineer, somebody is the engineer, you are the manager. So you have to get the same meaning. But Adnan's try was good. Let's give another 2 minutes for that. And I would prefer everybody gives a try. Everybody. Ibrahim, do you want to give a try? We may have to give the prize to Islam because Islam just missed one word. Okay. Due to lack. Well, Adnan, you have made a good try. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Well, your word is correct, your language is good, but you still can reduce the amount of words. Anybody else who can challenge Adnan and make a complete sentence, same meaning, with less than 20 words? Anybody? Because we have Adnan to be the closest winner. Okay, we'll close the test. Can you post the answer, please? Well, the word cheater was actually typed by my colleague Faisal. It's not me because the spelling is wrong. There we have a summary today. So imagine, you want to pass that message to your boss. So you can write that 34 words, same information. You can pass it with how many words? Very simple. Yeah. So that's about how you can make concise, short sentences. Because this is very important in business. If you remember on the first slide I said, in your job, in your business, time is money. You have to speak less and do more work. That's what most of your managers would expect from you. Number 4, job assessments. Certain companies, if they want to recruit you, they will have a job assessment. Job assessments are conducted within the company to understand your team working skills, your job knowledge, and how good you are to be a leader. So they will invite probably 20 candidates into their company, and they will have workshops where you will be given a set of tasks and you have to complete them in the right time. And remember, most of these tasks are depending on time. You will be given 10 minutes and they will give you a type sheet of 200 words and you have to type that in English in your computer. And then they will give you 30 emails and you have to reply those 30 emails in 5 minutes. So how would you do that? So job assessments are conducted mostly by top companies when they recruit top managers for their company, because they want to spend more time. They want to see your performance in work. Most companies, first day they decide whether to take you or not, and once they take you, they want you to be part of that and they want you to give them a business success. So that's about career development. So we will be going in depth about career development as part of this course, and career development will be one of your main modules. Due to unavailability of tools, well, yours is one of the best answers. Missed one word, it should be engineers. Okay, so do we have any questions in career development? So we have come to the next slide, which is presentation. Is everybody there on presentation? So once you have been selected for a job and you will be asked to give a presentation, and as part of your job you may have to give presentations. and if you have a new idea, you still have to present for your investors. You would like to bring a new mission into your company, you have to explain people about your presentation. And presentations are one of the key things in any business, and for your personal career development, presentations will help you progress in your career. Presentations is something where you sell yourself and you win people's hearts and you progress. So we will be studying about how to make a PowerPoint slide presentation. What are the techniques in making a PowerPoint slide presentation, how you correct your English, what type of words you should use in preparing a presentation. Okay. Second thing is how to prepare your story. How do you want to project yourself? Everything on a presentation, what I advise most of our colleagues is, before you do a presentation, ask 3 questions. Ask why. Why you want to make a presentation. Number 2, ask yourself who. To who you want to make a presentation. You want to make a presentation for your staff who are technicians, or you want to make a presentation who is above you. And always try to understand their standards. Just have an idea of their understanding. If they are all scientists who are coming in, you can just simply start your presentation saying the mitochondria has RNA and DNA and everything. But if you are presenting that to a finance person, you have to explain him and define him what is a mitochondria. A mitochondria is present in the cell, and the DNA is the nuclear unit inside, and you have to explain them. So you have to know your audience. So why, who, and what, your subject. You need to deliver your subject. And also try to find out how much time you need. If you have half an hour, do not go for 30 slides. This presentation that I prepared for you is for academic purpose. Academic slides can be more because you have the students, you have to explain them one step by one step. But once it comes to business, you have too much time, so try to use little amount of slides and more input and talk more, and have more graphs and visual aids into it. And then the presentation requires the presentation skills. Are we stuck? Okay, sorry. The presentation skills. How is your personal development? How well are you in your language to present yourself? Is all your audience paying attention to who is very revolting and asking you questions after question? How can you control him in a polite way? You cannot just say, Irfan, just shut up. You cannot say like that. You would say, Irfan, can I come back to you again? Or you have to say, Irfan, we will discuss this later on. Can you please hold on for a moment? So you have to use positive words when you do your presentation. You cannot just say, I cannot tell you, I cannot answer you. You have to be more professional and more skillful and more positive in terms of doing a presentation. Then, graphical representation. Do not have too many numbers in your slides. Do not have too many words in your slides, because words people can refer it later. So if you want to give a data, try to get the graphs on your slide and print your data and distribute for your attendees. And you can say, this is the graph which all the data and the details are in the research paper that I have prepared for you. And then business strategy models. If you want to explain the company, how you want to improve yourself, how you want to implement a strategy or a business idea, do not use sentence after sentence and have 20 sentences just like a procedure. Just create some symbols and make a business model. I hope you all understand what is a business model. If anybody doesn't understand any word, please raise yourself and we will come back to it. Then, interacting with the presenter. Sometimes you are not the presenter always. You are an attendee. So when you take part in a presentation, how you want to interact with the presenter. Maybe you would like to share your ideas, but remember, you have limited amount of time and you need to win the people, so always get the feedback. Do not speak for more than 5 minutes on a meeting because people get bored. Once you finish your point, ask them. This is the heading of the conversation. If you would like me to expand, let me expand. And you can expand with your discussions. So how you can ask questions from a presenter? You cannot just ask, hey Faisal, how much did you say? No, you have to answer. Beg your pardon, Faisal, could I interrupt you with a question? And when Faisal says yes, then you shoot your question. Could you please kindly explain me how you are going to achieve this target in the next 2 years? So your question should be formal and presentable and acceptable. And make sure your question has the details that you want. So that's about presentation, an introduction about the presentation module. And this module will be you where you have to do a presentation just like me to your colleagues. You'll be split into groups by having group activities, and you have to prepare a presentation and present a presentation. Anybody has any suggestions on this, or anybody has a question? Anybody? Suggestion means your ideas. If you have any ideas that we can include in this course for presentation, anything that more you want, something extra, we can include. So if anybody wants, please ask your questions. And guys, I'm opening your mics for you. I would really like you to speak. And when the class starts, I will be speaking only 30% of the class. Yeah? And I want you to speak 50%. So anybody who would like to speak, I would like to hear you speak.
Hello, Mr. Leo. Hello, everybody here. I am Faisal Al-Malki. I am first student here in this class. Okay. I had finished bachelor's in food process engineering. Now I am planning for continuous study in UK or Germany. That is about myself. My age is 25 years. I am fiancé. I am working in NBC National Brown Company. That is about myself. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
All right. Anybody else who would like to speak? Just to introduce yourself to us in English. Ranta, do you want to speak? I'm releasing you now. Once we start, you have to speak. Adnan? And as I said, be positive, Adnan. Do not get scared. Do not get shame. That you need to be positive. Okay, we'll go. We'll continue with the work. Okay, we have raised hand one person. All right. Yes, you can speak now. You're online. All right. If you are not happy, then do we have any other people who would like to introduce themselves? If you introduce yourself, I can give you a feedback on your English. Therefore, we go to the next page. Okay, Mohammed, do you like to speak? Please introduce yourself. Hello, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
Good evening.
Very good evening to you.
Thank you for interesting course. I'm Muhammad Hatem. I'm 38 years old. I'm working in Kuwait, HVAC senior engineer.
Good.
I am Egyptian, and I like to attend your interesting course, and it's very nice to me to know a lot of things from you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for sharing with us. You will... Hello, can you hear us? Hello?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Oh, good. Brilliant. Okay. So you're an engineer and you're working in Egypt. So on a daily basis, what sort of engineering work do you do?
No, sorry, I am Egyptian, work in Kuwait.
In Kuwait. So what engineering do you do? Are you a civil engineer or a mechanical engineer?
Mechanical HVAC engineer.
Good, brilliant. So what type of industry you work at now?
Contracting.
Contracting.
Yes.
Good. So what kind of jobs do you do as a contracted engineer?
Okay, I'm responsible for the installation of HVAC works at site, selecting materials, submitting the data to consultant for approval, following up the work at site.
Brilliant, good. So do you write reports as part of your job, where you have to make a report on the progress of your installation work and your workers' performance? Do you write reports?
Normally, no, we don't write reports, but there is a weekly meeting, and we will have to take some photos and give presentation about our progress at site every month. But there is a lot of letters and communication between correspondence between us and consultant and main contractor like this.
All right. One of the best suggestions that I can make how you can improve your English is,
yes, please.
What you could do is you have to write a paragraph. Hello, can you hear us?
Okay. Yes, I'm hearing you.
For example, you would like to imagine a situation, and you would like to prepare a speech for yourself, telling a speech for yourself, maybe about yourself, maybe about your work, for 2 minutes, and record your speech on your computer while you speak. So make a speech for 2 minutes and record your speech for 2 minutes. Once you recorded it, play it again and listen for yourself. When you listen for yourself in your language, when you spoke 5 sentences with us, once you complete each sentence, you are pausing like that, which is not a bad thing, which is a common thing that people make. So you will listen to that when you speak. So listen to that first time and note down in your mind which points you're making this and then repeat the same speech again the second time and record it. And once you record for the second time, then come back, open that and play it, and find out how many do you make for the second time. So practice the same speech for 4 times, and I'm sure on the 5th time you will speak continuously without a mistake. And if you continue doing that regular exercise of a similar type, so 1 week you make 1 speech, the second week you make a speech about your family, your wife, or your son, and the 3rd week you make a speech about your friend. So if you continue like that by yourself for 1 month or maybe 2 months, and I'm sure you will be able to improve your English and you will see a great improvements in your speaking.
Well, thank you very much.
You want to give a try of that?
That's because I am thinking in Arabic and translating this topic every time.
Yeah, if you do my exercise, if you do the exercises that I taught you now by yourself, you will learn to think in English and you will speak in English and you will omit the ers in your language. And your grammar is good, so you don't have much problems with your grammar, so that's good. You only have to make fast. Your sentence should come fast. So try my exercise and come back to me after 1 month. Yeah?
Okay. Deal.
Thank you for sharing with us.
Thank you for you. Thank you very much.
Good. See you soon. Bye.
Bye.
All right, we continue. Okay, thank you. So that's presentation and then graphical representation, and we looked at the presentation as a whole. So we'll go to the next slide. Can we go? All right. So the next slide, can we all go to business writing? Okay, business writing. As I was discussing with the gentleman from Egypt, who is working in quiet. And in our business or in our profession, we will be writing a lot of business letters. These letters are nowadays written as emails. So I cannot even count with my fingers the amount of letters that I write on a day. 20 years ago, my father would have written maybe 3 letters on his day of work. But today we have emails and we write letters. And writing letters is very important, especially when you're emailing somebody. Once you click email, and send, you cannot withdraw it back. So the best way or the best exercise that I can tell you right now is, before you send your email, spend 30 seconds to read your email. And I'm sure you would have made lots of mistakes in your email, and your boss would have phoned you up, and your boss would have screamed you and said, why did you type this mail? Why did you make this word? Why did you copy this to this person? You know, so many questions. But if you would have spent 30 seconds reading your email before you sent, you would have avoided that mistake. Because it hardly takes 1 minute for you to read your own mail. So we will be talking about how to develop your writing skills and what sort of vocabulary you use. We will be giving you online practices of different vocabularies, and we will be giving you suggestions of websites where you can learn vocabularies. Now it will be like an exercise. Every week you're given a target of 50 words, where when you come to the next class, you will be given to a group and you have to discuss the meaning of those vocabulary words. And make sure you memorize them or you practice them on your daily work. So vocabulary is one of the main things in business letters. Number 2 becomes your grammar. And then again, just like presentation, you need to know why you are writing this email, to whom you are writing this email, and what you are writing inside that email. And also you have to understand, when you send emails to people who are higher than your position. So you need to be very careful. And sometimes you have a feature of copying to people. So you send an email to another department, but you have to copy the name of your boss because your boss knows that what you're doing. So these comes under email technology, email techniques, and we will be looking at that emailing skills under business writing. And then agreement writing. Mostly lawyers take part in agreement writing, but as a business profession or as a professional engineer, you need to know how to read and understand an agreement. So in order to read it, you need to know how to write it. If you want to write an agreement for your supplier, you need to write and clearly mention all the details and all the overlaps, because you will never believe you will write this agreement today, but next year you will have a customer complaint and you have to go to courts, and the courts will look at your agreement. So we will look at different agreements written previously, and we will go and learn this by case study works. And number 3 is standard operating procedures. So I think most of you are engineering background professionals, and you will have ISO, BRC, and so many standards, quality management standards. And as the base of quality management standards is operating procedures. You need to write procedures for others to read, understand, and execute the work. So how we write these things? What are the key things in writing a procedure? And then, as I talked to you about email communications, how you address your boss, how do you copy it, how much information you add to the email, and sometimes you need to have a track of what you say. So you should always forward your mails when you send, so the reading person knows what happened previously, what are the conversations we had previously. Because I know some people, the same issue, they will continue for 3 months, and the third month they will send you a brand new email. So you have to go back to your inbox and search what was the previous conversation, what you told before. And also, I'm stressing you again, in your employment life, when you work in a company, always be careful when you send emails. An email can make you go out of the company the next day as well. And also an email can protect you to save you yourself as well. So emails are used as receipts and emails are evidence. So be careful and focus more on email communications. Number 5, Microsoft Outlook and calendar management. And as part of your Outlook, you will be having calendar. So how do you manage your calendar? How you plan your day-to-day life? How you plan your work tasks? So you come to the morning to work, what task you do? You plan yourself on your calendar, you click it, so you know at this time you have to execute this task. And then when somebody requests you for a meeting, how that comes into the calendar, and basically how you manage Microsoft Outlook. Maybe we will look at 2010, how do you work? But then again, this is mostly a business/professional English class. We will not go deep into to make it as a software class. I'm not an IT specialist to teach you in software. All right, we'll go to the next slide, please. All right, business meetings. How many of you have attended business meetings, and how many of you are scared of business meetings? Or how many of you felt that you did not perform well on the business meeting? Or how many of you felt that you want to express something, but just because your English words did not come at the right time, express yourself? Anybody answer, please? Anybody giving an answer for that? Okay. So business meetings. So we have business meetings as part of our day-to-day life. There are different types of meetings that you will have in your business or in your workplace. One of that kind is one-to-one meeting. So you would probably request an employee who is working under you, below you, or at your same level, or your manager, and you will sit one-to-one together and you will have a meeting. And how you speak on the meeting, because most of the time in business people don't have time. So you may have 10 minutes and you have to carry on with your meeting. So in 10 minutes you should prepare for your meeting. So the best thing is you prepare for your meeting. There's a famous British word that they say is, we never plan to fail, but we fail to plan. So always before you go, just make a short note in your notebook that what you really want to talk and what are the main points. And always stick to the point first. Once you finish your main points, then you talk about your personal life with your one-to-one meeting. Because mostly people end up speaking personal information and unnecessary information in a one-to-one meeting, and they will forget the important points. So what words you use, how you approach, how you address people in a one-to-one meeting. Then board meetings. So as you progress in your career, when you become senior managers, or some of you are senior managers right now, how do you perform yourself in a board meeting, where most of the managers from different disciplines or different departments sit down together and discuss about the common theme? And how do you project yourself in that meeting, and how can you win the people? Because when you start speaking, make sure people listen to you. Do not speak something that people won't listen to you. So in order to attract your audience in a board meeting, it's the key for success in a board meeting. And number 4 is business fair. And most of you would have gone for business fair, looking at different equipment. They will have business fair in Dubai, Kuwait, and mostly in Middle East countries, where you will go and meet people from your same subject line. So they all know your technical terms. So you need to ask technical questions. You want to buy a special packaging machine for your product, you need to go for a business fair. How you can take part in a business fair, how you ask questions, how you read the leaflets, and how you develop a business link. Because you might find a supplier coming there, you have to make a good relationship with him.
So you can go, sorry, it sounds very noisy. Okay, Mohammed, I'll speak very slow. So when you go to a business fair, you have to make a relationship with the suppliers. So when you come back to your country, maybe you don't need the product on the same month, but maybe on the next year, you will need the product. So you have to give him a call, and he is your friend. You can get the product very easily. So that is about business fair. And also we will look into, if you want to advertise your product or your machinery in a business fair, how will you present your product? Okay, the sound quality is poor. There is nothing much I could do, but let me refresh again for you. And another type of business meeting is project meeting. So mostly when engineers want to execute a project, when you want to build a building, you will have project meetings. It can be a daily project meeting, or it can be a weekly, monthly, or you are going to come back with a brilliant idea and you want to present your project to people who want to fund for your project. So how you prepare a project, how you explain your project, how you're going to explain and how you're going to convince the people to invest on your project. So this is another kind of meeting. And sometimes project meetings can be online meetings. You may have a Skype meeting with your international investors. A person from US wants to invest in your business. So these comes under project meeting, which we will be looking at. So business meeting is one of the main modules in our program. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, telecommunication. In business world, we speak on the phone. Sometimes you have to make a call for another country and telephone bills are high, so your finance manager do not want your department to waste more money on telephones. So you have short amount of period and yet you need to transfer your word. And when you speak on a telephone, you need to be double sure that the receiver or the other person who is talking with you understands the same thing. Sometimes you may convey a message which is a joke, but the person cannot see your laugh. So you need to be careful. Sometimes the sentence you use can be rude. So you need to be careful. You may have to describe more words because the person cannot see your body language when you speak on the phone. So we will look at basic telecommunication. We will look at international negotiations. When you call somebody in China, you have to speak very slow. You have to repeat your language so that they understand what you're trying to say. And mostly try to record your conversation. And then you have Skype conference calls where science professionals, when they need to get consultants advising them, they go to Skype and they will have a doctor or a professor who will come on Skype and give them a Skype conference for 3 or 4 people. And then telephone advertising, most of the companies advertise their products by telephone. Or even senior engineers would call up a company and say, this is the product we have, do you like to buy it? These are the information, and if you're happy and interested, I will send you my salesperson. You need to have your skills, how you can sell your product or service through telephone. And then technical call service. Most of the IT engineers have to do technical call service. So in a company, a person will call you and ask you for technical support. You should be able to call through the telephone and you should be able to guide them how they should control the computer. You cannot just say, use the mouse, come to the middle, press the button. No. You have to say, make your cursor towards the far end of your screen. Please go to slide number 2 and press the third option, and then you will have choices to make. Do not click the third option, click the accept button like that. So you need to give clear guidance for a person in terms of technical call service. So we will be having telephone communication as part of our course. And we will go to the last slide, and not the least, that's customer focus. So in this module, we will look at customer service, cross-cultural communication, sales and marketing, international conference, business meals and socializing. And remember, when it comes to business or when it comes to your professional life, everything depends on your relationships with your colleagues, your suppliers and your customers. How good you are in making a good bond with your colleagues. Sometimes you'll be called for a business meal. You'll be going for a dinner together with your business partners. You need to sit down with them and have a chat with them. So how do you socialize? You cannot be too personal with them and you cannot be too formal with them. So we will be talking about examples, you will be seeing videos, and we will basically train you on customer focus. So gentlemen, that's the end of our introduction class, and thank you very much for being with us. And let's look at the world in a different way, and let's enter the international business world with high skills in business English. If you have any questions or you would like to have a personal chat with me, please go ahead. Your time is now. Yes, we have Adnan. The quality good for me. Thank you. Okay. Anybody who would like to ask a question? So I assume that Adnan doesn't have a question, but Adnan, next time when you come, make sure that your website is very good and your internet is very good. Thank you, Mohammed. Engineer Right, thank you. Nice of talking to you, Engineer Right. The material for this course. We will be giving you the materials as we progress, and most of the materials will be PDFs and case studies and audio recordings, and also we will be suggesting you websites where you can go by yourself and practice for yourself. Any more questions? I will wait for another 2 minutes. Expected date of start. I think Faisal will answer you finally. Adnan, where am I from? Where do you think that I'm from? When I speak to people and they don't see my face, they think I'm from UK. Well, they think that I'm from UK, but I was born in Sri Lanka. I was born in an island called Sri Lanka. But I lived in UK most of my life, and I love to be in Middle East. I'm working here and I get tax-free pay, not like UK. I have to pay 20% of my earning when I was in UK. And you know, I love this, being in Middle East. And Adnan, you will also have a very neutral accent of English once you finish your course. Inshallah, I hope that. And all depends on you, Adnan, how much time you are going to spend in your course. We will have 1 hour. You are a professional. We will give you the guidance, but you have to decide how many hours that you can spend to improve yourself. Any other questions before we stop? And I do apologize for everybody for this technical issue we had. Since this was my first time, next time we will be having a good internet and a good service for you. Ibrahim, Faisal will advise you on that. Okay, Mr. Faisal is going to give you an outline of the starting of the course and what is the hours. We're going to talk to you about the course fees and the certifications and everything. And he will try his best in English, and because it's the first time, he will explain you in Arabic. Thank you very much, everybody.